I believe you will use those words. Next, we're going to have a domestic miracle coming on stage, and we'll be hearing some exciting world-first groundbreaking things from Toni Luhti, Chief Executive Officer of Platform of Trust. Welcome, Toni.
So thank you and good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to spend 20 minutes saying aloud my own thoughts. What a great mindfulness practice, right? So I'm here to explain a little bit about data. First, I need to be sorry for the Estonian friend, because I'm not going to explain what we are doing, what is Platform of Trust and so on, because we would like to focus on the usage of data in built environment today. And then I would like to thank you, our Google and Estonian friends, because they use the same terminology as we are using when we are talking about the data and the data consumption in a built environment. Because we have noticed that terminology is one of the biggest blockers on the road of the digitalization. Because whenever we're heading to a meeting and we are starting to talk about the data, then there is the CIOs, CTOs, and other tech fellows joining the meeting, and then after 5 minutes, the whole discussion will end up to topics like a GDPR and the ontologies and whatever, and no word about the value of the data. So let's start with thinking about how the world in general is using data. And we all know that sales and marketing segments, I would say, are utilizing the data. They are profiling us and they are selling more to write profiles and so on. And R&D, for an example, is using heavily the data to prove and evaluate their development matters. And then there is a couple of industries who are taking the most benefit of the data, like space industry, healthcare, and so on. But there is no built environment mentioned, right? And like there was mentioned before, that there is a huge complexity in the cities and in a built environment in general, and the operations are running in silos. So that is kind of a hard starting point to get all the data to the same, a joint point, and then to start to use it. So, when we talk about the data and data strategies in a companies, let's say for an example, real estate business, they have at least 9 different solutions or systems what they're using to run their daily operations. And the data is located in multiple databases. They have other locations for data like emails, Excel sheets, and so on. And then during 2019, it's expected that 4 billion new devices will be connected to internet, and all of them are producing data. This is part of the IoT megatrend, right? So all these are producing data, and the data is fragmented all over the organization. So how are you going to use it? Then you need to do a manual work to get everything to the same place, and we know by heart that there are some cities in Finland that are spending 9 FTEs to gather all the data to the same place and harmonize it for the usage. Which means that if you're spending 9 employees to gather the data and transforming it in the right format for you, the data will be old when you have it. So how are you gonna run everything, all the decisions based on the data if it's already old when you have it? So then how do you use it? So especially in Finland, we are measuring the sales afterwards and saying that, hey, we did this amount of revenue from net new customers during last month. And so we are doing this kind of backwards reporting, right? We are not asking how many opportunities we missed during last month, because we don't have that data. We are asking the questions towards the data, what we already know, but we just want to get some kind of proof, right? And then, is this kind of a data usage a real data strategy or any kind of digitalization, benefit for anyone? Everyone is doing this, right? All of you and your competitors are doing the exact same model with the exact same circumstances. And you think that you are a digital mature and so on. This will lead us in a context of built environment, and we, as a platform of trust, we are thinking that the built environment is a huge data source in general. What kind of measurements, what kind of values, what kind of things you can actually measure in a built environment, what kind of information you can generate from the data. As you can see from here, there is hundreds of different functions what you can measure, then tens of thousands sensors and individual data sources what you can gather together and then do some kind of visualization. But like said here, the visualization is like a second or third step on the process. Because typically when we're ending in a discussion about the data strategy, they say that, hey, we are buying an AI solution. Okay, so what's the purpose of the AI solution? Well, it's going to do some algorithms and it's going to do some neuroscience and whatever things it's supposed to do, right? But then you have limited amount of data available because it's in silos, it's in a different formats and so on. And then the visualization can look pretty nice, but it's actually useless because it's proving the same thing that the reports have been doing 20 years from now. So, how we can turn this in the other way around, in the competitive advantage? The first thing what we need to do is make all data available for you. You have plenty of data sources, but they are not available. They really aren't. Then you need to harmonize the data. All these kind of data formats must be in a computer-readable format, which means that it cannot be a random template or it cannot be a random email or whatever. It must be a machine-readable format. Then you need to focus on the right questions. We as a human being, we are funny creatures, right? We are asking the questions what we already know. Instead of focusing the questions what we don't know, I don't understand how the competitive advantage comes from the things what everyone knows. So then, there is one crucial point what I'm going to show on next slide, and that is the finding the long causal relations from the data. And when thinking the real estate and the construction segment from the larger point of view and thinking what are the all indirect factors that are impacting on your business and operations on this industry. Taking all these other industries which have direct or indirect influence on your operations. What kind of data you can get from them and how these kind of data usage will impact the understanding what you have of your own business, of the competitor's business, of the industry, of everything. This will lead you a different kind of opportunity when you can do better services and customer satisfaction, cost savings and quality, performance improvements and innovations and designs. If you have only the middle in a circle, the middle in the center, if you have only that data available, it means that your capability to do innovations is only limited, right? So, if you're gonna take all these data into account and gather it all to you and transform it to same kind of analysis, it's gonna look like this. And this will scare all of you immediately. And 9 out of 10 of our customers are saying that we don't have enough capabilities to analyze data. Yeah, that's true, but that's only a second or third step on the process. That's never on the first step of the process because the data is fragmented, the data is not in the right format, and then when you get it, it's gonna look like this. Then you will notice that this is the real situation, what I need to figure out. But if you are buying the AI or analysis or visualization solution first and you don't have the data, the AI will be idle like a DVD player on the night time. Here we go. So, how this competitive advantage comes from the data. With this kind of comprehensive look for the data, you can get the insights from the indirect factors that are actually impacting on your business. Let's say that with the standard data model, you can understand how the people flows are impacting on the energy consumption and so on. But what if you have all the other factors like the price of the energy, the profile of the people who are walking in your shopping center and whatever, and you will have all the indirect factors available. Then, when you have enough data in a horizontal way and in a vertical way, you can simulate and make new scenarios. What would happen if you change this? All the process mining, all the data mining operations are relying the amount of data and the different variations and the different horizontal points of data, not this kind of narrowed view for your own business. And then there is a couple of more things how you could benefit from the data. And one is the predictive modeling, one is the optimization, of course, but then the biggest part, how you can make yourself different from your competitors, is definitely that you need to understand the unknown. You need to ask questions what you don't know, what you can actually ask. And on this part, you will get in a situation that you have something what the other competitors don't have. You have some kind of data or knowledge what the other, different industries don't have. You can monetize your data. You can sell it. I don't mean by selling any kind of data which is competitively, necessary for you, but all the other data. There is plenty of data. At least 90% of your data is something that you can monetize and sell it for the other industries or your subcontractors or whatever. With these thoughts, I say that please focus on gathering the data before you enter into the visualization part or understanding the data, and make it as automated as possible so you will get the real-time situation whenever you need it. And then make the data work for you, not the other way around as you're doing right now. And that is the only way how you can actually do the data-driven innovation, do the new business model innovation, or any kind of R&D what hasn't been seen yet. Thank you.
Toni, that was compact package.
17 minutes, pretty good, right?
Yeah. If you are getting points for the time, but yeah, that's really good. Now we have time for questions. Any questions from the audience at this point? If you do, raise your hand. Oh, there we have a question, and you'll get a microphone. Please state your name and then ask the kind and short question.
Hi, I'm Björn Carlson from Iceland. I just wanted to, excellent talks by the way, wonderful. I just wanted to ask you to iterate somewhere in the past where we get these excellent slides so that I can stop taking photographs with my phone all the time.
Thank you. I can answer that
question for you.
You get it on your leaflet. You will find information. There is an app called Rodo. Yeah, so it's there, but you can find it from the leaflet. Other questions? No. It seems that everyone here knows Platform of Trust. So talk a little about Platform of Trust. You're sort of like, you claim to be first in the world in many ways. So
there is actually that's a good question from you, because Estonian guys are thinking the same ways, and I really like their approach. And it's expected that 2021 there will be at least 1,000 platforms available globally on the market. 2017 it was around 500 platforms. And what they really do miss right now is that every time when you are taking the platform and you're buying it and you're starting to integrate your own solutions to gather the data, what we talked about, it's gonna spend like tens of thousands of euros for you, which means that you're buying the platform for you, and then you're gonna spend like a half a year, 2 years, whatever, to integrate everything what you have, and then you're actually ending up in a situation where your business model is locked up to a technology. And I'm afraid that nowadays, you know, decreasing the flexibility to change is kind of a scary thing for every business manager. And our focus as a platform of trust is to focus on the self-service tools on the platform. So instead of doing like a 3-month integrations, you can do it like a click and run type integrations, so you can actually generate your own API and use the self-service tools, drag and drop, you know, methods to create your own API, connect the sensors, connect the solutions immediately, and make the data flow, so on, enable the usage of AI.
Okay. Another thing in your presentation, you said the benefits of collecting data is you can collect data and then sell it. There are some people who think otherwise.
Absolutely, but I think that you said it pretty well. When I entered the room, there was everyone saying, let's share. And I think the biggest value on the built environment context comes when all the different stakeholders are sharing the information and data between each other, and then they are creating this kind of competitive environment. Instead of everyone is holding their own data and focusing on their own vertical, they need to focus on the horizontal level.
Okay, so you mean that you're actually not supposed to collect the data in your own pocket and keep it there? And
Definitely not. Definitely not.
But rather than that, to do what?
Collect all your data and share it with your contractors, with your partners, and so on, and innovate together a new business model and new type of services and processes and so on, because the data will tell you the fact if it's on the right quality level.
Question to the audience, are you collecting data? Hands up? Some are. From those who are collecting data, who's sharing it to someone? Oh.
3 hands.
Okay, so we're not quite there yet. Maybe next year.
Definitely not, but there is a great initials starting in many countries, and the platform economy itself is an answer for that problem, but we need to speed it up with the right terminology and with the right mindset.
Okay, so platform of trust, where are you at the moment? There have been a lot of fuss about you and buzz about you for some time already. You're sort of like the outcome of the former big digitalization projects, but where are you now and what there will be next?
So we are about to run the production environment, and we have had some pilot customers, great customers who gave their help to build this platform, the first version of the platform, and we are starting our sales engines so far, so we are looking to get this kind of copyable solutions for all the parties right now. So we are on the edge to get the maturity for the market, but still I would say that you need to have the right mindset to work with us.
Okay, that was sort of like a product management type of answer, production environment and pilot and then said, what about the business leaders who are here? What can they get out of the platform of trust? What to expect?
Actually, my only hope is that all the business leaders will tell us what are the source systems and the connectors and hardware solutions, what they would like to see in our capability to connect. I mean that, if they could tell that this is the most important data source for me, and it's going to be most important data source for the other 10 players on the market, it means that if we can connect it on behalf of them. They can save the integration costs and get the data flow automatically.
Excellent. So you want them to share?
Absolutely.
Yes. Excellent. Let's give a big hand to Toni. Thank you very much.